Oh, what about now? Shoot, I always do that. Okay, we're on. We're live. Last time we did this conversation, we could not see your comments, so we can see them now, and we'll engage with you live as best that we can as we roll out the content. I was gonna say something else.
I'm just gonna bust him out real quick. We're
Don't
late
bust me out yet.
because the shirt he picked out, he then realized matched mine, and he didn't want to match. See, this is stuff we're about to talk about
This is
today.
petty. Okay, you got it now. What about now? Can you hear me now? Check it now. Test. Okay, try it now. I think it's a lag. Okay, we good. So, I don't know if you heard the last thing I said. The last time we did it, we couldn't see your comments. If you're outside of Oklahoma, please let us know where you're chiming in from. And even if you're inside of Oklahoma, let me know which street you on. If you're in Tulsa, we're gonna kick this off. They didn't hear what you said, did they?
Did y'all hear me throw him under the bus? Because I'd be more than happy to do so again.
This is starting off. This is not starting off good. Okay, let me cut this music. We're excited. We love these. I think the last one we did was in 2020. Was that the end of last year?
Yeah.
End of last year. It's been so crazy. Some for the good, a lot for the good, some for the bad. It's been a lot of changes. What's been new with you? What's going on? What's been new with you since the last time we got to see your freckle face online?
Well, I got a new job, so I'm less stressed. So that's always amazing.
So our schedules right now are completely crazy. This is hectic. So we stole some time. We hijacked some time to get ready to do this. These are so difficult to do because we got two demanding children. We got a dog, Lord, and ministry work. Yeah, so there's a lot going on, but we wanted to cut out some time. We had some time together, and we wanted to share it with you all and just share our hearts, share some nuggets about relationships. Now, listen, I got a couple of disclaimers, and then we're gonna get into what we're gonna discuss tonight. If you have a question and you want it answered, put it in the chat and we'll try to get to it. If not on this video, I'll inbox it to you. Now listen, I told you last time, if y'all inbox Brittany, we were riding one day and I looked over at her phone and she pulled up, I think her Instagram.
So you're going to try to get me back?
Yeah, I'm trying to get you back. So she pulled up her Instagram and there were like 25 friend requests pending.
Sorry, guys.
It's about 50 of y'all on Facebook. I know y'all. She know y'all. She just doesn't do social.
I don't be on social media like that, just to be completely honest.
So
like,
if you
I
add
ain't
her,
trying to ignore nobody.
if you add her and she hadn't responded yet, if you're sensitive, you're gonna get your feelings hurt. But I'll inbox you. You can inbox it to us like we said last time. We do this when we first got together. I know it wasn't on my agenda to like talk about relationships with my spouse, and this was never a part of the game plan. This wasn't on my, I'm going to get married, I'm going to deal with. But I think that for the culture that we live in, the people that we have encountered, young couples, older couples, we've been through on your, this is a prelude. So when we did the Valentine's Day, answer the questions about your spouse conversation, one of the questions on hers was, or on everybody's was, how far have you traveled together? And you say what?
To hell and back.
The realest comment goes to Brittany
Well,
on that to hell and back.
Yeah.
So we probably got a whole lot more hell to go. And we're learning, we're growing, we're evolving. Yeah. So please don't take this as we have all of the answers, but we just want to share what we've found out, what we've learned, what we've implemented that works in our relationship, and share some pitfalls with you that have not worked in our relationship to save somebody who's been married longer than us, shorter than us, even single, widow, divorced, you got a baby mama, whatever. I think that something tonight that we say will assist you with that. Okay, we're not going to be long. I promise.
Okay.
Disclaimer. This is not church. This is not Sunday morning.
No.
the choir ain't behind us. Y'all see we got Bernard behind us. This is really for the culture. This is for our age group, older, younger. Again, we talk to so many couples that are dealing with hardships and have questions, and so we want to keep it as 100. I want to keep it a buck. I wish I had a hat in here, so no cap. As real as we can. The audience that's on my Facebook page, a lot of them come from like the church, either grew up in church, but I got a group of people on my timeline who are not church, who are not Sunday morning. And so some of the stuff that I post on my page is totally not for the church crowd, but I'm engaging more than one audience. And so if we say something that's raw, that you feel like shouldn't be said in Sunday morning, guess what? This is Saturday night. This ain't Sunday morning. And so anything you want to say before we I don't know.
We will be 100% honest with you guys.
Yeah, I don't know what we're going. Brandon, shut up. I don't know what we're going to say. I don't know how this is going to come out, but we're just going to do it. And I think this will help somebody. So we titled this, It's Not What You Think.
Come on now.
Now, before we get into that, I got to ask you a question. I was really going to be super petty, but I'm going to reserve it. Okay, I want to ask a question.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you a question. Give us a misconception that you had as we kick off. It's not what you think. Give me a misconception that you had about marriage before you got into it that has been busted thereafter.
If you're saved, you won't have issues with marriage.
Somebody told you that? Or that's what you just thought?
What was the question? Did you say what somebody told me or a misconception I had?
Where you get that from?
It was a misconception I had.
But where you get it from?
Well, I mean, Christians are supposed to live by a different standard than regular people. So I'm thinking, Christians ain't going to have the same arguments regular people have. But it ain't the truth. That's why it's a misconception.
Lord help us. Okay. You going to ask me?
Ditto.
Okay. So a misconception that I had. Now my brothers, what's up? He hosts. Ryan, shut up. So a misconception that I had was that sex would fix it all.
Oh, bless your heart.
Both internally within me and in the relationship. I just thought, we're going to deal with this a little later. I just thought that good sex was just a fix to all of it. It'll just scratch every itch. It'll pay all the bills. If you could just find you some good sex out here, the rest is history.
Oh, okay. How did that go for you?
I don't want to talk about it right now. That's not what this live was about.
Good sex doesn't fix everything.
Although it is quintessential.
It does help in the grand scheme of things, but it don't fix everything. The bills still got to be paid.
Yes, they do. They do. They won't stop coming. Okay. So there we go. I had the wrong notes pulled up. Here we go. We're going to call this, It's Not What You Think. The reason why I thought that we should title it this, not because there's not a group of people on that are watching this that are unaware of what it costs, of what it takes to build a relationship. I did a live this time last year. We were talking about it, about the 3 misconceptions of what the happy couple could be.
Right.
So the first one, let me see if I can remember them. The first misconception that we wrongly judge, that when you see a happy couple in the mall holding hands, you remember that video, happy couple in the mall holding hands, what could it be? The first one was, it's an affair. If you see somebody, they're in a couple and they holding hands and he's grabbing her up and they smooching, one of the large misconceptions that could be outside looking in is that it ain't even real. He's cheating.
Yeah, that's true.
He's cheating. They had an affair. It ain't real. The second one was no weight has hit that. Right. Yeah, euphoria. Okay, explain euphoria real quick.
Euphoria is a heightened sense of what you're really experiencing. So in the beginning of a relationship, it can last up to 2 years. For some people, it's less. For some people, it's more. But it's just like, oh my God, this is the most amazing person ever. They can never do anything wrong. They know it all. They smell amazing. They look amazing. Everything about them is amazing. They have no flaws.
Were you there with me?
Absolutely.
How long? I want to see if you can tell the truth.
How long?
Yeah, how long?
I think I was in euphoria longer than you.
I wasn't that long at all.
You kind of like plummeted pretty quickly.
Yeah, I did. So that's a whole other conversation about who falls out of euphoria first. I know she knows a lot of couples that their first argument was, you're not in love with me anymore.
Right.
The high is gone.
Yeah.
And usually most times both individuals don't come out of that euphoric state
at the same time. That's true.
I left way before she did, and that was a huge argument in our relationship. Why you stopped doing what you did?
And I have the gift of love. So the combination of euphoria and me having the gift of love was like
exactly. So the second one with this happy couple was that no weight had been put on it, that it was still in the honeymoon stage. We talked about those 5 stages last video.
Yeah.
That no pressure had been put on it.
Right.
So it had not been tested. If you have something and it has not been tested, you really don't know what you have unless it has been tested.
Come on.
Message.
This is true.
The last one, and the one that we kind of built this live off of, which was the third, and which is my favorite, which is it has to be built. When you see this couple in the mall, at the fair, wherever, on vacation, Jamaica, in the islands, and they kicking it and they having a good time, what we're looking at, it could be that it is real, that it's not fake, that they're not cheating, that there's no hully-gully going on, but that this individual is genuinely happy. They have gone through and had the necessary conversations. They've crossed over major hurdles in their relationship within themselves, etc. And they have built what you see.
Right.
And
they're doing the work.
Say it again.
They're doing the work.
So
every day.
when we look on social media, when you look at couples that you admire, you aspire to have their joy, their laughter, whatever it is that we see and we want to pick out of that relationship to admire, to desire. I think that what we miss, especially in the social media age, is picking something and not understanding and not realizing what that couple, what it costs them to develop what you think that you seeing is.
And what you think you want.
So let's get into it. It's not what you think. I was when we were talking about at the table last night about what did I say? Prepared in and
preparedness.
Say it again. Preparedness. Explain that.
Being prepared for the relationship?
Yeah, the relationship.
Well, honestly, I don't think most of us are prepared for a relationship. We have an idea of what we think the relationship should be, but that's not really true. I mean, honestly, I don't feel like anybody can be totally prepared in the sense of you can do the work ahead of time, but once you come together with that person, you don't know what obstacles you're going to face inside of that marriage. So
absolutely,
you can work as hard as possible to, have the tools necessary to overcome those obstacles, but you still don't know what you're going to face. I mean, for us, who knew in our first year of marriage, we were going to get married, get pregnant, bury a child, take in a sibling. Like a whole lot took place in just the first 12 months of our marriage that we didn't even have a clue about.
And I think that's such a good point, because we have when we talk to when you talk to single women, single men, me, vice versa, when we talk to couples, there are so many options. Yeah. And I don't even necessarily mean quality options. I know the singles are reeling up in arms about there's not any options out, but there are just what I mean by options is I mean that there are so many, the reach is so far.
Right.
So before social media, you could only deal with the people that were in your church. You could only deal with the people that were in your community, at your job. And so now you've got options to go to different cities to look at candidates, etc. And so when I say that there are so many options, I think that one of the things that hurt us in relationships is that we are privy to so much information.
Yeah.
And we've heard through articles and media and through TV and through horror stories about what relationships entail. And so in our fear, this is from my perspective in talking to single people and even married people, in our fear of not getting with something that is crazy. I think that what we try to do is we try to predict not only what will come, but we try to predict, okay, if I get with somebody who's got this level of education, if I get with this individual who comes from this kind of stock, if I get with this person who drives this or who believes this, that it is going to ensure the success of the relationship.
Right.
Is that in itself, is that true or false?
That's so far from
Okay,
the
explain.
truth. I mean, first of all, in a relationship, you want to be able to build something with somebody, so you want commonality. And just because you get, okay, like the great example that I like to use that I feel like my generation and the generation after is on a quest for as a woman is somebody who's rich. Wealth does not fix
Brett.
everything in a relationship. Now, wealth will offer a level of security, but just being completely and 100% honest, most women can't, they don't have the tools necessary to acquire a wealthy man.
Oh, God.
Because a wealthy man requires things. I mean, that's just the truth.
Yep.
A regular man has requirements. A wealthy man has even more requirements. So it's like we're thinking, okay, if I get with somebody wealthy, then all of my problems are solved. And that's not the case. But we do that in several different ways when we're entreating people in relationships.
So let's get into it. All right. We're going to give you about I think I wrote down 3 different areas about dealing with it's not what you think and how to build. We are masters. I want you to hear this. We got a master's degree. We got a doctorate degree, a double in destroying. Yeah. We know how to tear stuff up. Cutoff game is on 10. Yeah. Petty is on 1,000. Yeah. Block party is my block game is there are so many. I don't even have arguments anymore. It's just block. It's just thank you. Yeah. I am a professional at unbothered. And so in the day that we live in, you saying sure a little too hard on here. But in cutoff culture,
right,
we know how to tear something up.
Right.
But I think that one of the areas that we all can do some growth and development in is in the art of building something.
Come on.
If you typing with us and you watching this tonight, I want you to type it in the comments. Can you build something? Just type it in the comments. Can you build something? But can you build? I know you can tear it up. Now listen, it's easier to tear it up.
Absolutely.
Than it is to build it. And I got one more for you on the live. It's quicker to tear it up
than it is to build it. Yeah.
And so if I can just put a footnote right here, I want you to tell me why this is either true or false.
Okay.
Trust is one of the hardest things to earn back. Once you lose it, once you tear it up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why?
Just because there's such a large amount of vulnerability that a person has to walk in order to give a person trust, that it's like, if you destroy that, then it's my safety that's on the line.
Okay.
So you may be doing everything right, but I'm saying at the end of the day, I got to protect myself, and you have now put yourself in the seat of the enemy. So. Okay.
So if you out here, this is going to be fun. If you out here playing games, like if you want to one night stand it, if you're just looking for arm candy, there are people out here who want the same thing. Like there are people out here who just want you to come through. I just want to call you up when I'm hot and bothered, when I'm hotter than Little Caesars Pizza. Just hit me, hit my line, page me, and I'm there. You can come through. Right. No questions asked. Yeah. Wham, bam. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. And it's done. No, it ain't no feelings attached. There is that is out here. And so if you playing, there are other people that will play with you.
This is true.
But if you're talking about commitment, if you're talking about someone, you being vulnerable and that being returned, this thing gets really serious, because I know people who have left God behind failed relationships,
right,
and people playing and people presenting themselves as one thing in the relationship, but then turning and saying, well, this is what my agenda really is.
Right.
I have seen people blow up stuff. This is why women and men put potatoes in tailpipes and baby oil on the windshield and sugar. What'd you say?
Key in cars.
Oh my God.
Busting
sugar
windows.
Bricks. In this is why Jordans get cut up. This is why bleach get poured on clothes, because people are out here playing, and people have been through hell and high water. They've been raped, they've been molested, they've been abused, they've been rejected, they've been dogged out.
Yeah.
And so it's a very sensitive time when it comes to relationships, because I got to say this and we're going to move. When I'm looking at our generation and the generation after us, younger than us, almost everybody that we talk to is tired. And I'm trying to figure out, how are you in your 20s? How are you in your 30s? And I'm not talking about physically tired, but emotionally tired. Yeah. Like, I know people in their early 20s that are saying, I only got one more relationship in me. And I'm like, you started. You just hit pure. What do you mean? But because
you just graduated high school,
and you talking about my next relationship is gonna be my last. Wait a minute, you just talking about date.
But have you been to college yet? Lord help us.
But
this
why?
Is true.
Why that is what you just said. We have given quality love. Yeah. We've given in some of us too much love and too much of ourselves to idiots.
Yeah. This is
to
true.
People that did not have, Lord help me to tame my tongue on here, that did not have a clue about what they wanted, what they were doing, what they were playing with. And y'all, we've been around here and gave them the best sex. I mean, we didn't around here turn flips and tricks and swung from chandeliers and baby oil down for folk that don't even want to, that we can't even stand to see their face no more.
Listen, they don't have a clue.
It's a sensitive time.
Right.
So we're going to talk about building tonight. So we dealt with what we dealt with. Number one, I want you to explain this. Start right there. I want you to explain emotional availability or emotionally intelligent. This is point number one. We're going to give you 3 tonight. 3 areas that you can look at to see if you can build, or what it's going to take to build a quality relationship in 2021. So explain emotional intelligence.
Okay, so I want to give a plug real quick before I explain this. But
Come on, shout it out.
I'm totally going to explain this. Aday is a therapist that used to be a member of our church. She moved. Unfortunately, we miss you, Aday.
I see you.
But she said something that was very profound to me. So me and John got married super early. I was 21. He was 22.
13 years ago.
Exactly. But Aday said that the brain doesn't finish developing until 25. So we laugh about people in their early 20s saying, I only got one more relationship in me, because their brain is not even fully developed yet. So the things that we think we have completely figured out, that we just know in our early 20s, baby, you just keep on living. That's what my great grandmother would say. Just keep on living, baby. Just keep going to bed and getting up, because with time, you're going to gain some more life experience and hopefully some more wisdom.
Hopefully.
So let me get to number 1, emotional availability and emotional intelligence. So I'm going to start with emotional intelligence, because you got to know how to be intelligent in order to be available in that area.
This your lie.
So emotional intelligence is being able to locate your feelings, pinpoint the origin, describe how they manifest. Now, we didn't have a clue about this at 21 and 22. Let me just throw that out there.
I didn't even know what emotional availability is.
Exactly. That was not even in our vocabulary.
I told you what I was trying to do when I first got. I was trying to get in. That's what I was trying to do. Turn it around for me.
But the problem with that, or what we run into, because we didn't have any emotional intelligence at the time, is unnecessary arguments. So our first argument, and y'all probably have heard us talk about this before, maybe, I don't know. He's probably done a story. So our first argument was John Riles telling me what to do with my paycheck.
Why you gotta come my last name?
Well, I mean, it's our last name now.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
So this is the conversation. He goes, hey, I'm gonna cover all of the bills. I just need you to buy groceries. Now that sounds like a reasonable request, right, guys?
In your 30s.
In my 30s, right. I'm 34 now. But as a 21-year-old in my not completely developed brain, my first response
young and dumb.
Exactly. You ain't my daddy. You ain't about to tell me what to do with my check. You don't go to work for me. I go to work. I make this money. I'm going to decide what to do. Now, as a 34-year-old woman, I feel like I was very foolish. Can I just say that? Because if a man wants to pay all of the bills and the only thing he is asking you to do is provide groceries for 2 people, that sounds like a great deal. Just saying. I still was going to have a whole lot of money left over, but for some reason it was like he was completely coming from my womanhood in that moment. But really, he wasn't. So if I would have had emotional intelligence, if I would have been able to locate why I was feeling that, if I would have been able to pinpoint the origin of that and then describe why it brought out that feeling, we could have sat down and had a conversation. But oh no, we had a whole argument about it. And he was like, I'm a good guy. What is the problem? I am a good guy. And I was like, you ain't my daddy.
Yeah.
All of my little hood came out. And he was just
Come on, show the hands. Talk about the hands.
No. And he was like, what's happening right now? He was completely like discombobulated by that moment because he's saying, okay, this is not the woman I've been spending time with. But in my brain, I'm saying I've had to work for everything that I have up until this point, and I'm not about to let you come in my life and take that away. And that's not what he was asking to do. He was just saying, hey, I got you, but can you help me in this area?
We had a counseling.
We did end up having a counseling session about
argument. It warranted like we need to call a third party.
Yeah.
Cause the smoke.
Right.
And I gotta tell you, I was so shocked. Like, you, Brittany, if that's your real name, like, who is this woman standing in the middle of the living room? Hands was just like the little girl on Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter. Just hands was just, and I was like,
you ain't gotta come for me like that.
I want to make love. That's what I want to do. I want to fight. So emotional availability / emotional intent. So a lot of us, and I'm gonna say a lot of us, but there was so much that we have endured before we got with whoever we're trying to get with.
Right.
When you find whoever you might want to be with, there is so much that have happened in our life. And for the majority of us, for the vast majority of us, we have not sat down and went line by line through those circumstances that have shaped the way that we think, the way that we feel, the lens in which we look at life, the lens in which we look at. I got my relationship style, what I wanted. I desired it. A lot of it came from my grandmother, grandfather, and grandmother. But TV was one of these foundations of how I said I want my marriage to sit. And so when I got married...
TV's not real, guys. Which created some more arguments.
It was for me. So when we say it's not what you think, I had a huge misconception on what marriage was going to be, what it was going to cost, what it was not going to cost, what it was going to entail, the sacrifices, and so there was no blueprint.
Right.
There was no roadmap. And so like you said earlier, you can't predict death. You can't predict someone having a stroke. You can't predict joblessness. You can't predict homelessness. You can't predict a car accident. You can't predict a miscarriage. You can't predict a stillborn. Right. And so these things that we're listing tonight are to be put in place, should be put in place. You should have a conversation about it with your friends, if you're single, with someone who is a mentor, a pastor, etc., or the person that you're with, so that when you get into a relationship, if you're single, or those of you that are in a relationship, if we have found it to be true, if these 3 short little bullet points are not a part of your relationship, it's going to be difficult to build it. Right. So number 1, will you write this with me in case someone is scrolling through? We're talking about 3 things that would help you and assist you in building your, because we can tear stuff up. I put a hole in the wall. Yeah. Did you break anything?
Probably.
Tire, rubber tread has been lost from peeling out. You name it. Okay, number 2. I want you to deal with this one. Openness and vulnerability.
So number 2 totally ties into number 1. So if you're taking notes, make sure you write it down. Number 1 is emotional intelligence and emotional availability. So openness and vulnerability, which this completely baffles me. And I'm about to just go there for a second, so just buckle up, okay, y'all? How in the world do you let somebody penetrate you, but you will not be honest with what's going on the inside of your heart? Okay. And we're going to just take a moment to breathe. So everybody take a deep breath in and out. But it's the truth. We lay down with people that sometimes we don't know at all. But when it comes to being open and vulnerable to really build a relationship, we refuse to do the work. Like, we just absolutely refuse to do the work.
You're just going to say that and just drop it.
I mean, I said put your seatbelt on. Because, I mean...
Why is that? Give a reason. I got one.
I think we give more value to what we feel in our heart than we do to our actual body.
Just let that one marinate.
I'm going to just gaze out the window for a moment.
I think that it's not one answer.
It's not. It's multiple.
I'm going to give you another one. Because there is so much pain in the earth right now, and many of us have grew up in households, neighborhoods, environments of severe pain, trauma, that so much to the point that it has become normalized that I forgot what is that we are looking for an escape.
Right.
We are looking for a get out of this world free card. We're looking
something
for
that's gonna make me feel
a drug. And so thank you. That's why I keep you around. So euphoria, I don't know if we did with this on the last video, but the word euphoria, if you research the history of it, they were putting people under anesthesia, and they were trying to find a word. The people who they put under anesthesia, they were asking these people to describe the feeling that they felt after or being under anesthesia. And the word that they used, they came up with the word euphoria, which meant that they were disconnected from reality. They were in a heightened state where they didn't feel the pain that was around them or that was happening to them. And so we fast forward to 2021, and a lot of the moves that we're making in the culture, sugar daddy this and level up, and I ain't gonna settle, and I want a wealthy man, and I'm all of that kind of stuff. Really, one of the foundations that I see in that conversation and in that talk with our generation and with our culture is that people are in pain, and we are looking for a quick fix to get us out of the pain that we're experiencing. And so for me, sex still is, God bless you, it's in a healthier way now, but sex, that was my, if I could you
out there now, just go ahead.
If I could just find some fine woman and some thighs, and
really,
I did you say we was gonna tell them? So what I'm saying is that we are looking for something to numb, something to ease the pain. And I have bad news for you, that there is no quick fix for it.
Can I just say this, from a medical standpoint? So just because you're numbing the pain, if you don't address it, it's going to cause more issues.
Brittany!
So if your leg is broken, they're going to give you pain medicine to numb the pain, but they're going to also put your leg in a cast to fix the broken bone. We just be taking pain pills to numb the pain.
Because I got to go to work.
And we still walking around with a broken leg.
So when you find somebody, oh God. So let's say you have found somebody. We about to get real deep right here. Let's say you have found somebody that's quality. Let's say you have found somebody that's real, that loves you enough to weather the storm with you through this crazy thing called life. Let's say that you do meet this person. If you haven't found them yet, if you have not addressed what we just spoke to, that person that is quality, they're going to pack their bags up and they're going to leave you the hell alone, because no one wants to be nobody's punching bag.
Oh no.
So that person who really stays and becomes your punching bag, they really need healing, because there's something wrong with that, Cody. And there is also something wrong with the individual who is inflicting this constant pain. And so we're not going to get out of healing. The Lord said to me at the beginning of this year, this year, he said that we were only going as far as we're healed. That you were only going to be able to go as far as we are healed. So I can't stay there long. That's point number 2. Openness, vulnerability. The relationship, I told somebody this the other day. The relationship that you want, the love, the acceptance that you desire in a relationship, you're not going to get it outside of vulnerability. So before you can expect that other person to be vulnerable and to be truthful and to sit within who they are and what they are and be honest about it, you got to present that as well.
Exactly.
And the leading cause that I have found with why we struggle with vulnerability is because that means that I got to give you all the cards.
Yeah.
I got to undress in front of you, and I got to give you the option to whether or not you want to still continue life. If you haven't shared this, please share it. If you haven't shared it, I told you we weren't going to say nothing too crazy. You can trust us. Somebody needs to hear this. So openness, vulnerability. I think that vulnerability, you really can't practice it. You can't live it. You can't be it unless you have really settled within yourself some key areas that are not pretty.
Right.
And I don't think that we've mastered, our relationship we got some areas to work on.
Absolutely.
But what is beautiful, what I can say about our relationship after 13 years, what's beautiful at this stage is that I know what she is.
Yeah.
She knows what I am, the good, the bad, the ugly.
True.
And it is what it is.
Yeah.
And so there will come a point that this person can undress, I can undress, and there's not a shock factor because I already know what you're capable of. I know what your capacities are. So it ain't, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Okay. So number one was emotional availability and emotional intelligence. You got to have that in order to build. Number two, openness and vulnerability. If you are not willing to be honest and to be truthful and to be okay about being honest and being truthful about what you are, who you are, where you've been.
Right.
You cannot expect that from the other person. And then if you can't expect that from the other person, if there's no vulnerability, then you ain't got nothing.
Right. And can we stop doing this as a culture? Don't say you mad about everything. There are other emotions available to describe what you are feeling in that moment. And if you will Google an emotion wheel, it will help you tremendously because it leads you through why you ended up at mad or why you ended up at angry or why you ended up at hurt or sad. So just look into that. That's a side note.
Some of us are embarrassed.
Exactly.
It's another emotion. Okay, last but not least. Where's it at? Wow. Oh, I want you to deal with that one.
You want me to deal with all of them? We're going to deal with them together.
Okay. I want you to start it out.
Okay. So wise counsel. So let's rewind back to the first argument. In order for us to get past that, because at the time, neither one of us had the emotional intelligence that we needed to be successful in our relationship, we had to go outside of ourselves and get wise counsel. Now, please hear me. There is a reason why we are saying wise counsel. We're not saying your homegirl.
Not your toxic girl, not your text group.
Exactly. We're not saying your homeboy. We're not saying mama or daddy. We saying wise counsel. And honestly, in the beginning of a relationship, although those people may have wise counsel, normally the people that are closest to you have a tendency to be biased to what you are saying. So when we're saying wise counsel, you want someone who's going to be unbiased, neutral, who's going to take the information that both of you guys give, not one side. Because if you're talking to somebody and they not like, well, what does he think? If they're not asking for his opinion too or her opinion too, you already know that they're biased. And that's a problem. Because if you want your relationship to work, you don't want somebody who's biased. You want somebody who's neutral, who's just for what's right. So get some wise counsel. That might be a therapist in the beginning, like a marriage counselor. Those people exist for a reason because their job is just to take the information and tell you what's right. And they honestly don't care who they upset in the process. They're just going for what is right. What's your thoughts?
Wise counsel. And I think that a lot of, again, we talking to couples,
right?
The ones that do not have anyone that is what I'm going to call alternate eyes or an unbiased perspective. Those relationships are really in the state. Literally, the Texas, Maine, New York are in the state that they're in. And they're in trouble, and it's a ticking time bomb because there's no one to give a different perspective. No one is there to say, okay, especially if you're not if you don't have anything, Like if you don't have any working,
if you don't have the Holy Ghost,
if you don't got the Holy Ghost, if you don't,
he ain't screaming loud,
yeah, if you got to have, we was a statement that we make this that they ain't got nothing, meaning that there's nothing on the inside of you that God can grab to say, Negro, chill out. You're going too far.
Right.
And so if you, especially for those of you who fly off at the handle, you got a temper. You be ready to flash. You be ready to just. You really need someone of. But I'm seeing now that a lot of us don't have people in our life that we respect that are influential that can tell us you tripping.
But see, that goes back to number 2, open and vulnerability. It's not just limited to your marriage. Like, honestly, it really takes a community. Like, in your marriage and raising kids and being a successful adult, you need that community of people around you that can give you that insight and wisdom.
You a flat tire away from needing somebody.
Listen,
if you got stuck in the snow, the snowstorm, you one tire slip in the snow from the. So this we are not together because we know this information within us. What we're telling y'all, it was taught, it was imparted, it was instructed, it was over dinner, it was counseling sessions, etc.
Books,
years, and so
counseling.
No one is around here in Ireland. Just know it all, just got it,
right?
And everybody in our business. You're not gonna see me on Facebook venting and crying in the camera and all of that.
Oh my God! Don't get me on it.
But there are people that I can do that with, that will steer me when I'm, because sometimes not a lot, but I do trip. And when she's tripping, it has been the people who are sober in our circle. Yeah. That can get all the information, and based off of them knowing that my capacity to be crazy is what it is, and yours is as well, they know the advice to give.
Right.
Last but not least, wise counsel. So let me say this about wise counsel for those of you who are dating, and then we're done. I put in the notes, dating in the dark. Dating in the dark and being engaged in the dark, being married in the dark. This is what we mean by that in regards to building your relationship. This is for you single folk especially. Dating in the dark is, I met this young lady, and we hit it off, and we going out, we kicking it, we chilling, we here and there, we popping bottles, we jumping out of limos, we doing whatever it is that you're doing in and out of hotel rooms, etc. Doing whatever it is, you're going out to eat, taking pictures of your food, all of that. But nobody knows this individual.
Right.
Nobody regarding wise counsel, no one has met this person.
Right.
And so God forbid if this young man, if this young lady bop you upside of the head while y'all drinking one night, while y'all sipping on that wine and eating edibles and all of that, and he bop you upside your head, who's gonna know where you at?
Nobody.
There have been countless people that we have met, that we've counseled, that we've pastored, that heart is broken by somebody who they got in a relationship with, but they did not let anyone in their life give them any wise counsel on, you need to watch out. There was just, I can't call her name on here because I can't edit this video, but I tell this story about this young lady who I dated in elementary school named TP. And I'm gonna say this, we done. So this young lady named TP, I told my mom, I said, Mom, met this young girl named TP. And she said, you mean TP from? And I said, yeah. She said, baby, you listen. She said, let me tell you something about TP and her family. She said, you wasn't raised around that type of environment. You need to leave TP, and you need to leave TP and her people alone. That ain't your crowd. I didn't put nothing in you to deal with that. I said, you jealous? You just mad? Because I found me somebody on the playground. Lo and behold, after that young girl got through with my behind, I said, I wish I would have listened to the old gray-haired mother tell me, TP, I got a whooping by. I wish I could really tell the story in here, but she might be watching. This young girl, it was... So it was really her that really set me up for you. When you started talking, I said, I know your kind. I know your spirit. Listen, we got to get off of here. We love you all.
You a mess,
This has been fun. I hope that we have said something that will provoke conversation in
Mm-hmm.
your home, provoke conversation in your relationship, your girlfriend's feed with the fellas. Take this dialogue with it, talk about it. But we're gonna do. I ain't gonna make no promises because this stuff is hard. I finding a time in the schedule to do. Gee, but I hope that you
We
watch
just got to
this.
do it. We'll do it, y'all. Tell us what y'all want us to
Yeah,
talk
yeah,
about.
cause woo, gee. So listen, real quick. I think I put it on the. I didn't. So our church is doing a sexual healing Zoom. I'm gonna put the flyer in the comments of this. I really try to keep it as mild as I can on my public Facebook because I got bishops and pastors and all that kind of stuff on here. But we're gonna do one. Our church is gonna do one. The marriage and family department is gonna do one strictly about sex, sexual healing. The women, Brittany and Bishop, and the women from our church do a Zoom. They've been doing it weekly, and it's been this is child's play compared to how deep it get. But
If
listen,
y'all
if you
wanna
want to be
talk.
involved in that, if you want some more of this, inbox us. I'll put those flyers on in the comments of this
Yeah.
video, and let us know. Give us some feedback. I'm gonna dialogue with y'all right after we get off of here, and we'll talk. And I want to hear what you think. Give me a story. Give me some feedback. Give us some feedback. Again, if you add Brittany,
Just be patient
be
with
sensitive.
me is all he's saying, because I don't get on social media as much as everybody else, but I am trying to do better. I am old enough that when I got my Facebook account, it was for college purposes. It was not for social purposes. Amen.
All right, y'all. We love you. We'll see y'all the next time we do this. Make sure you share it. Someone needs this information. A cousin, a niece, a nephew, your spouse, tag them, tag somebody who you think that this might be beneficial for. And we'll see you the next time that we do this. Peace.
Let's just take it slow now. Ain't got nowhere to go now. Ain't no need to rush, so let's just take it slow now. Let's just take it slow now. Ain't got nowhere to go now. Ain't no need to rush, so let's just take it slow now. 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 Ain't no need to rush, so baby, let's just slow down.